Why do modern women struggle with accountability?
Because that would mean that they have to acknowledge that they don't bring value to the table. That would mean that they have to acknowledge that all they have to offer is beauty and intimacy.
So,
and that's unfortunate.
What is a modern woman in your opinion?
A modern woman of 2024 is a woman that seeks attention and validation more than respect and authenticity. It is a woman who is entitled to whatever it is that people have around her. It is a woman that takes things for granted, is not appreciative, and kind of just has a high level of expectation with low level of give. You know, she's a taker, not a giver. So that's my opinion of a modern day woman. And I really feel like if you really sit down and understand that all you have to offer is a pretty face and yeah, the kitty, I mean, that's unfortunate. That's empty. You know?
I mean, but a lot of people are sold that the kitty is the most valuable thing of a woman too. That's probably why they're
giving it up for a meal at Checkers.
Just not kidding. Checkers.
She ain't going to Checkers. She ain't even going to Cheesecake Factory. She wants Boa. She wants Steak 48. She wants Nobu. So $100 instead of $40.
Damn.
Still a lose if you ask me.
Modern women don't want accountability because facing the mirror would mean admitting they bring nothing to the table but looks and bedroom value. And even that fades with time.
A lot of women have lost their sense of value and self-esteem, integrity, ethics. Society doesn't really uphold those values as they once did. Like, we went so far from the 50s trying to be anti-rebellious of that woman that had to fit in that box. And I think we over hit the pendulum in the sense of liberalization, that I feel like we lost a sense of dignity with ourselves and values. They're just trying to do the huge inflated and look like a star to please men, to be these objects, and they think that's what gives them the like, the adoration, the status in life. And so I think they're mutilating their bodies in order to appeal to these men that are so dependent on the industry and their women to look like that's where we've gone. So that's where I think women are going wrong now.
Some women today don't look liberated. They look confused. In trying so hard to reject the past, a lot of people have swung so far that it turns into self-sabotage, chasing validation through filters, procedures, and performative confidence. And the saddest part is when it's all done to impress people who still won't offer real respect or commitment. Real confidence isn't manufactured for strangers. It's built from stability, character, and choosing better standards for who gets access to you.
People struggle with loyalty because everybody is their own God and everybody only has loyalty to their own desires. And then the culture perpetuates this. And then usually girls around your age think that your own desires is the only thing that matters, which kind of becomes your religion. And then it becomes your philosophy and it becomes your God. So it's incredibly hard for people to be loyal, especially for women to be loyal when your own desires are your God, because then if anybody fails to meet your desires, it's like a personal crime against you. And that's why a guy can really do nothing wrong in a relationship, like nothing terribly inherently wrong, but it can feel to a woman like you were really wronged by him if he simply fails to excite you or make you feel something. It's almost like an assault on the desire that you so badly seek to feel alive.
Some people are being conditioned to treat their emotions like a compass that's always right. And if a partner doesn't constantly cater to those feelings, he gets painted as the villain. He didn't cheat. He didn't lie. He didn't mistreat her. He just didn't spark enough, didn't feed the ego, didn't match a fantasy 24/7. And in that mindset, that alone becomes justification to walk away and call it self-care. Feelings matter, but they're not a moral authority. A healthy relationship needs more than excitement. It needs respect, stability, and appreciation for what's actually there.
There is a guy I interviewed, and he married a Christian woman. No kids, not overweight. They have 2 children together. One day he comes home. The wife has filed a temporary restraining order on him. He's kicked out of his house. No trial, no evidence, no nothing. He has to wait. It's during COVID, so he has to wait a year and a half to even get to see his children. And by the time he gets to court, the mom's been in the kid's ear saying how terrible of a person he is. Now they go to court and they say to him, well, you haven't been in the kid's life for a year and a half, even though she lied about the abuse, and they figured that out in court. This man had, and I saw his court documents, text evidence that this woman was planning to do this to him. In the year, he still had to pay the mortgage on the house. He still had to pay child support in that year and a half period. He hasn't seen his kid. Michael, they live a mile from him. Because can you imagine going through that? I've interviewed so many men that I would not be surprised if they committed suicide.
Just because someone labels themselves Christian doesn't mean they actually live it. The label is easy. The character is the proof. And that's exactly why some men question whether marriage is a good deal. It can feel like you're being asked to make a lifelong commitment based on words and vibes, while the real risk shows up later if values don't match actions. For a lot of men, the good deal only exists when there's clear alignment, trust, loyalty, mutual effort, shared faith and practice, and real accountability. Without that, it's understandable why they hesitate.
If you're not 6 foot or make 6 figures, women don't want you. We all know dating has become increasingly difficult due to the inflation of female standards. With the amount of options women have on social media and dating apps, it has severely skewed the perception of what is desired and attainable. But as a nearly 6 foot man, multi-6-figure earner, handsome, no kids, and under 30, we can have preferences too. For example, I prefer a woman who is 5'5" to 5'7". I prefer a woman who makes at least $60,000 a year. I prefer a woman who is educated and comes from a good family background. Now, I've earned the right to have these preferences, but the issue is that most women have not. That's like a guy who smokes weed all day in his mom's basement saying that he deserves a Playboy model. You're delusional. And for the woman with delusional standards, I guarantee you that the husband that you will one day settle for is nothing like the Prince Charming you imagined.
Some people have sky-high standards but can't handle anyone else having standards back. That's the core issue. They'll reject men for height, status, money, lifestyle, sometimes over tiny things, and call it preferences. But if a man says, respectfully, "I'm not attracted," suddenly it's a moral crisis. Attraction is personal, and everyone is allowed to have preferences. What's not okay is the double standard, demanding honesty and choice for yourself, then shaming the other person for having the same freedom.
Women are now less and less getting married, less and less having children before the age of 30. Why do you think that is?
Women are delusional. We think we're hotter than we are. Women tend to want traditional men. Men tend to want traditional women. But like, how many women like have a cookbook, know how to cook from scratch? How many women would delete their Instagram because their husband told them to?
Or even delete certain photographs.
The men are looked at as dogs if they cheat, but the women are not looked at as dogs if they have a provocative picture on their Instagram. And if anything, they'll die trying to defend it. And then the men are shamed for it. They're called controlling. And I'm just like, for not wanting your tits on Instagram, like, get out of here.
That disconnect is the real problem. Expecting traditional behavior from men while rejecting any traditional responsibilities on their own side. If you want a traditional dynamic, it has to be mutual. Values, effort, and respect from both people. Otherwise, it's not tradition. It's just convenience.
How many men are being wrongfully accused of being emotionally abusive, narcissistic, or gaslighting when really the accusations are being made by an emotionally unstable woman? Now, this is a reality we don't discuss because a lot of women are indeed plagued with the presuppositions that their feelings are supposed to be the only feelings that matter in a relationship. Their feelings are supposed to be the focal point. The guy is supposed to do everything to make sure that they are happy and satisfied. And any attempt made by men to draw boundaries, to criticize the woman, judge the woman, shame the woman, hold her accountable, will be met with manipulative terms like this that women erroneously attribute to normal male behavior, and men simply wanting respect and their feelings to be acknowledged and valued as well. A significant percentage of women have unrealistic expectations and have no idea about how relationships are actually supposed to work and how to make them work. And many modern women genuinely have poor interpersonal relationship skills. It is the accepted norm that a woman's perception of a relationship is the golden rule and standard of how relationships should be. And men who fail to abide by those standards are often vilified when the woman is actually the one who's in the wrong.
Way too many situations get reduced to buzzwords like narcissist or gaslighter, when what's really happening is simple incompatibility, poor communication, or someone playing the victim. Feelings matter, but they're not a court verdict. And setting boundaries isn't abuse, it's basic self-respect. If a man calmly says, "I'm not okay with this," and he gets instantly labeled the villain, that's not accountability. That's manipulation.
In order for you to be a leader, you need to have people that are prepared to follow. And the fact of the matter is, you can be a fantastic leader, but because you have feminist propaganda, it is impossible for men to lead. Women demanded equality.
I agree.
You got it. You can't lead someone who wants to mutiny and who is not prepared to follow. Here's the thing, a lot of women want leadership and they're biologically and evolutionarily attracted to leadership traits in men. Decisive, dominant, masculine, leader. However, these same women do not want to follow.
Modern culture tells a lot of people they're bosses. So now you've got men trying to lead relationships with partners who treat every decision like a power struggle. You can't lead someone who's already in rebellion mode. A healthy relationship needs cooperation and trust, not constant resistance and who's in charge energy.
Do you want to know what the problem with many modern women nowadays is? Many modern women, they lack in self-respect, self-worth, integrity, shame, and above all of that, modesty. I mean, just look around. These women are out here celebrating a high body count. They're barely dressed, drunk, twerking in public or on club couches. Instead of competing for a man and work with him, they rather compete with the man. They have nasty attitudes, most of them are disrespectful, and many of them expect a childless man to take care of a whole other man's child. And when you look at her social media, and it really doesn't matter what type of caption she is using under her post, it's always all about her, her ass, her outfit, where she is, what she's doing, and all of that. It's never about anyone else. It's always about their narcissistic ass. I don't want to talk about all of them, but 99% of them are full of it. Yes, I said what I said. Hate it or love it.
Some people treat dating like a competition with men instead of a partnership with them. More prove yourself than build together. And that mindset usually kills trust fast. On the kid point, asking a guy to take on a child that isn't his isn't automatically disrespectful. Blended families can be great, but it is something you can't demand or guilt someone into. It's a serious responsibility, and a man has every right to say no without being shamed.
In the days, most of the time, you would wait for someone to make the first move. It might be on the first date, it might be the third date, whatever. It could be the man, it could be the woman. But now, all my friends have noticed that the man has stopped making the first move. All my girlfriends are like, they're waiting, it's the third date, fourth date, a week later, he hasn't gone in for the kiss. He doesn't do any touching or anything. And I've asked my dude friends that are single, and they were like, you don't know where a woman's gonna go with that story anymore. I ain't touching nobody. And it sucks because the Me Too movement is so strong and so powerful for the people that need it, but it shouldn't ruin the maturity that we should have within intimacy and relationship.
Men aren't making the first move like they used to because it can feel like you're gambling your reputation over one misread moment. A lot of guys are tired of the risk, so they'd rather keep it respectful, play it safe, and only move when the interest is crystal clear.
A dude flipping hamburgers can't keep a modern woman. The top 50 richest men in the world can't keep a modern woman. What makes you think that you can, sir? Get them? Sure, that's the easy part. Keep them? That's the hard part.
It's wild, but it kind of proves the point. Even money and status can't guarantee stability if the mindset is always upgrading. For a lot of people now, it's less about love, loyalty, and building, and more about ego, novelty, and keeping options open. When endless options become the goal, commitment starts feeling like missing out, and nothing lasts. Thanks for watching, brothers. Remember, stay focused, stay free, and keep walking your own path. If you found value in this video, drop a like, share your thoughts below, and don't forget to subscribe for more content on self-mastery and independence. Until next time, walk tall, stay true.